Welcome. Without much ado, let's look at what we got on GJ today. Yesterday, this was the market structure. There was potential buy here and sell here in this range. Okay, so this buy is more complex than it looks at the face value. Okay, because the taking of the buy here was close to this resistance. It wouldn't make sense to some traders. Why would you want to take buy when you're close to resistance? And the taking of the sell here wouldn't make sense to some traders because they'll say, why do you want to take sell midway of this range? Why didn't you just take sell at the top of the resistance here? At the top here you have the resistance. So most of these things wouldn't make sense to some traders. But in the overall um, scheme of things, or in the overall scope, I am trading it relative to the strategy, not just looking at setup and say, okay, when price is at resistance in seller's market, you should just pump the throttle as in step on the gas, or when price is here, look to take what breakout strategy because we are in seller's territory. No, I wouldn't want you to memorize a pattern. Instead, understand the reason behind the pattern. In other words, understand the story. Okay, understand the story. Like for today, what I'm looking at is on the daily time frame, we're in seller's territory. Okay, on the 4 hours time frame, we're in seller's territory. On this 1 hour's time frame or 1 hour time frame, we're also in seller's territory. The question is, why don't I just put my sell stop here, my stop loss here? Because if price breaks this low, takes this low out, it should do what? Continue dropping. In fact, some people would already be in this sell after it has given the top wick and starts as in giving that bearish vibe. But if I take this sell here, I'll be willing to combat or endure whatever price does before it gets to this support. Okay, which there is nothing wrong with that. The only thing I would like to do instead is to take this setup you are seeing on the screen, which is sell here, stop loss here, and in initial TP here. But I'm very sure that price will keep doing what? Creating new lows. Perhaps after tapping this, it would retest, retrace, then continue its bearish momentum. Now, let me say this again. This sell here doesn't mean it will not work out. If you activated here, you should be willing to give room in case price does what? Makes a new high before eventually coming down to drop. So that means your stop loss will not be here. Your stop loss will be either here or some pips above. Okay, and another thing, I'm not taking this sell here, which goes beyond what most people are seeing, is that there is a level here price is reacting from. It doesn't make sense now, but if I drop down to the lowest time frame, you see that there is a level here price is reacting from. Okay, so price could spike down, activate any sell stop here, or anybody who is willing to take sell, go up before coming down. That is one scenario. However, waiting for price to come down here and even activate us here will indicate what? A swift move dropping further. Now, mind you, even if price gets activated there, is not assured that price must go up before dropping. Okay, but I wouldn't want to be stuck in price doing what? Dropping to activate before going up, to create another structure here, which is we are in this kind of structure here. This is what I just drew. Price has come up somewhere around here and is just dilly-dallying here. Okay, so it could go up before eventually dropping, or it could just continue dropping this way. So this is where I'm just entering my sell for price to continue dropping. Then if it want to retrace, it retraced, then give a new lower low. So this is just what I'm looking at. This is the pictorial diagram of this particular structure. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at on British pound, Japanese yen. Very simple, very straightforward. Um, if you don't get it in the first swing, watch it again to get better understanding. Okay. The next thing I'm looking at is gold. Gold has been performing beautifully. In fact, since for as long as I could remember this month, gold has just been performing beautifully. Look at this range price was holding after the CPI news. Eventually, price did what? Made a new low, made another low, and even dropped massively yesterday. Now it's holding in this range. You see, this is one of the reasons I always advise don't try to just trade fundamentals alone and catch big profit, because if you gauge the momentum of this candle and this one, the size of the candle, you discover that they are, if not equal, this one will be higher. And not, I'm not talking about higher in just pips. The certainty of catching this profit without slippage. In fact, the odds will be in your favor in order to catch this sell compared to this sell. Okay, because even if you enter this sell, slippage might activate or fill your order somewhere around here. Or even if you have a very good broker that fills your order here, that kind of feeling that price is just swinging up and down, it could activate, then go up. But this one, once you activated, you activated. You are not going to be scared that, oh, price may come up to take you out, because the volume will be one directional. Even if it does its agitation, retracing, it will not retrace to the point where it will come back to take you out from the trade you've just entered. Okay, so for gold, what I'm looking at is this to continue its bearish momentum. Okay, and the TP I'm looking at on gold is still quite down. It's somewhere around there, which is the, which price level it is? 1589.975 price level. So you see how the point I'm looking at for gold to drop to, which is crazy, because gold is just one incredible pair that you wouldn't want to just smack around or take for granted. You understand? Okay, with that being said, this is just what I'm looking at on gold. And for further bearish swing, so this will be my scenario one. However, if price retraces, I'll be looking to take sells. I'll be looking to take counter trend buys going up, then join the swing coming down. This is how I've looked at it to maximize the profit you will make. It doesn't mean you're greedy, you're just following your overall plan. Okay, trade your plan and plan your trade, TP and PT. Okay, for you to get TP, you need to do what? PT. And for you to trade your plan, you need to plan your what? Trade. This is an ampersand sign. Okay, so this is just what I'm looking at on gold. Like I said, it's very simple and straightforward, but you just have to digest it, take your time, don't rush. Okay, do well to subscribe. Okay, do well to subscribe and hit that notification button, select the all option. Okay, now let's move to the next thing on the watch list, which is what? Bitcoin. For Bitcoin, as you can see very clearly, in fact, let me do this, let me make this color, so that, in fact, let me do this so that you will see the trend line very well. This is not a trend line anyway, parallel trend line. So this is a channel, and you can see price has been respecting this channel. Okay, respecting it. Mind you, I don't use any of this to trade. Doesn't mean that I've not spent years understanding how these channels, trend lines, um, Fibonacci, Bollinger Bands, Ichimoku, EMA, SMA, RSI, um, just mention it, whether using divergence or you want to trade using API. So many strategies, so many. And each of these has contributed to formulating this very, very airtight strategy that gives us, like this month, by grace of God, the Mahanta has been very faithful in order to prevent us from incurring loss. That does not mean that I trade everything that my eye just comes to the chart to see. I choose my setups and I make sure that it follows every requirement. Okay, just like the gold, the GG I showed you, which if you go to the beginning, let me just do this. If you go to the beginning on GJ, I will still come back to this. I will not delete that. Look at it. You see, it has activated the sell and it has started dropping. But I'm not in the trade now because of what I said earlier. Okay, so for Bitcoin, this is what I'm looking at on Bitcoin. So anything above this level will indicate what? Bullish momentum. Anything below this level will indicate further bearish momentum. So this is what I'm looking at on Bitcoin. There is no much thinking or overthinking it. Do well to subscribe. Hit that notification button down here. When you do that, select the all option, comment, and like. This is all I got for you right now. Happy weekend. Peace. Baraka Bashar.